I am seeking a message once again that is in my highest and best current interest from my guides, from any other higher aspect of myself that can give some insight into this everyday aspect of myself. Blessings to all who may hear this message. Hello, Alan. Nice to meet with you again. Who would you like to talk to? I don't know. There are many of us here, many different energies, all of which can bring you a message. What kind of message would you like? I think I would like a message that helps people to understand the complexities of the world, the complexities of the different messages that are being delivered from so many different spiritual teachers on the planet these days. Hello, Alan. You know a lot of this already, but we're going to bring to you our message related to this particular topic of diversity and complexity in spiritual messages. Every person is their own guru. Every person is their own teacher. Every person, when they open their eyes, from the moment they open their eyes, they are teaching themselves about 3D, the third dimensional reality, because every person is creating their reality. And they are creating that reality to learn about that reality, to learn about their ability to create, to experience that reality, to experience what it is that they are able to create. And ultimately, through the course of one or many lifetimes, they will learn that they are creating that reality. But in the meantime, before they are aware of this and before they master this particular skill, they are learning the diversity and range of capabilities that they have. That is why some people seem to be unawakened. They seem to be asleep because they are exploring the depths of the realities that they are creating. So every person is doing this for themselves. They are creating their reality. They are also creating all of the different spiritual messages that they are hearing about how the world works, how human nature works, how spirituality works. And like you, they are hearing a lot of different messages. And that is because all messages have some truth to them. Because nothing is out of place. Nothing is wrong in the universe. It was all created by God for a reason. And spiritual truths, spiritual teachings, we should say, are no different than every other aspect of reality. You have hundreds of different varieties of roses, for example. Different sizes, different smells, different colors. In the same way, you have a multitude of different teachings, all of which is a teaching, and none of which is especially false in any way. They may not be complete teachings, but they are complete at the level that they are being taught, at the level of consciousness from which they emanate. They are complete. And so some are attracted to those teachings because they resonate. Their consciousness vibrates at the same level as those teachings. Others are not, because their consciousness is in a slightly different place. And many will move from one teaching to another as their vibration, as their frequency, overall frequency changes. And they are drawn to new teachings that they are now more aligned with. But that's not to say that any teaching is wrong or that any teaching is better, because every teaching has a purpose and every teaching has a lesson. And every teaching is wrong because every teaching is limited. And the ultimate truth is unlimited, is universal, it's infinite, it is beyond spoken languages. So we're speaking to you now at a particular frequency, from a particular vibration that matches your vibration, because we are you, of course. You're simply speaking to yourself. But we come through you, bypassing some of your memory-based conditions in order to bring a more pure message, more clear message than you might come up with on your own. However, we are also very close to you at this time, and it's very possible that you could do this on your own as well. The difference between us and you is becoming less and less. So all teachings are true and no teachings are true. All teachings have value, primarily to the teacher. The students who are drawn to particular teachings, they will see value in the teachings, but their purest teaching is the one that they teach themselves. And they are doing that. In fact, you're only teaching yourself through the creations that you create. And the teachers that you encounter are part of those creations. You are drawn to them, they are drawn to you, because you have matching vibrations. Now, some of them you may feel are not appropriate, are lower vibrational teachings, but you still come across them, so that means there is a space within your consciousness for that type of teaching. Remember, you are multiple points of consciousness that have come together to form the personality that you are. And that personality has many identities. Each point of consciousness that comprises you, of which there are hundreds of thousands, millions, has the potential to have a different vibration. However, for the most part, for most people, most beings, most entities, the vibrational character of all of their points of consciousness are mostly similar. And then you have some more peripheral elements of that consciousness. And that's often on those edges. Consciousness is where those elements that are deemed not appropriate, those teachings, for example, that are deemed not appropriate, those behaviors that you see as and judge not appropriate, those things in your environment that you see and feel are not really that appropriate. They could be better. They could be a higher vibration you feel. Mostly they are more towards the periphery of your being. On the other hand, also on the periphery are those things that you feel you would like to incorporate into your core consciousness. So you see things on the periphery that attract you also. They are part of you. They are felt to be somewhat peripheral, but you would like to bring them in closer to the core. So there's some things that you want to kind of push out from the core, other things that you want to bring in from the core. And that's perfectly fine. That's how change happens, because you're constantly changing. Your universe is constantly changing. Some things are being pushed out. Some things are being drawn in. Most of the time you are totally unaware that you are doing this. Most of the time your smaller ego might be really surprised. Why did I pull that in? Well, there was a reason, of course. Your higher consciousness had a reason for moving that more to your core consciousness and moving some things out that perhaps you might feel some loss about. But there's always a reason. It's always moving you to a higher vibrational level. And so when you come across all these different teachings, keep that in mind. That is what they're doing. They're moving. They're part of the flow of the ocean. You can think of your consciousness as the ocean and the movement of waves, of water, of energy through the ocean. And sometimes things come together and sometimes things move apart, but it's always flowing. And you're there watching this flow, this coming together, this moving away, this coming to you, moving away. And you're creating that. And it's through your selection, your focus of the things that are coming to you and going away, that you create the world that you experience. New opportunities, new things that you never thought of will come forward. And things will move away, and that's okay. You watch them flow away. And as things come to you, you shift your focus to what is important to you. And that's how you experience this reality. That's how you create this reality, through the choices that you make. And one choice will influence another. And one choice will influence the next wave. And as you choose that wave, that will influence a new wave that comes forward. And as you shift your focus away from that wave, that will allow different waves. So this is one way that you can think about, and you can actually create your experience, create your world. Think of everything that you experience as waves in this way, coming to you, opportunities, things you don't want, and you gently move from one to another. You allow them all to be because they have every right to be, but you place your preference here, and you move it from there to here, and that will change everything going forward in the moment point, of course. So that is our message related to your question. The diversity of teachings exists because every person is their own teacher and has their own message to learn. And by being exposed to all these other people who are also teaching themselves, each teaching is like a wave that comes. And some of them you feel positive towards, and some of them you feel less positive towards. And that will change over time. And that's true for everyone. And in fact, the more teachings, the more waves you experience, the more interesting life can be. So look at it that way. Basically, you are your own teacher. Everyone is their own teacher. And all of these things that they're experiencing are things that they are creating to help themselves learn who they are, who the universe is. That is our message. We love you. Namaste.